Okay, so welcome back to another episode of me comparing two very similar products, but obviously they are both slightly different, and it's up to you whether which one you want to go for. Now, today's product is gonna be the Magene Exar TPU tube versus the Ridenow TPU tube. Now, the Ridenow one I bought it myself, whereas I was given the Magene Exar tube by someone lah. Not by Magene themselves, but by one of my friends. So, what is the difference? Now, the initial unboxing is actually more or less similar. It's just a tube, right? So, unboxing the Magene Exar one, the first thing you'll get is the tube, which is orange. And afterwards, you'll get an instruction manual. And then there's this one thing that I found quite interesting that Magene did, which Ridenow didn't do, which is this small little thing that you put it on your rims so that it prevents the valve from like rattling in your rims, right? So this is the difference between the Magene one and the Ridenow one. So the Magene one is a bit of a plastic rubbery kind of feeling, whereas the one that was given by Ridenow was this thick plastic sticky piece that you just stick on your rim. Now, I think if Ridenow came with this, it would have been better, because the sticky one kind of leaves like when you take it off, right, it leaves a sticky film on the rim and it's quite hard to remove. You gotta take like alcohol wipe and rub it off and something like that. So that's one complaint I have with the Ridenow. Now, when I took it out of the box, the very first thing that I saw was the thickness difference. The Magene one is definitely thicker than the Ridenow one. And I don't know how to explain the material feeling, but this feels like your grocery plastic bag, and this feels slightly thicker than your grocery plastic bag. But it just gives me like this sense of security that it's thicker and I won't die so easily, or I won't get a flat so easily. So the next thing that I realized was that the width of Ridenow is actually bigger than the width of Magene. I mean, it's probably for the accommodation of 30-32mm tires, and that is why this one can only hold up to 28C. Now, the Ridenow one doesn't tell you on the tube itself. It won't show you that it's up to 32, but it's on the box somewhere, and I don't have the box anymore. But yeah, it's on the box. Whereas the Magene one, they actually show you that it's up to 28C only. So, do take note, okay? This is very important. Even though technically 28 can go up to 30, but let's not do that, especially since the material is already so thin. Now, both of them weigh the same, about 36 grams, which is kind of which actually gives the advantage to the Ridenow tubes, because the Ridenow tubes are 80mm valves, whereas the Magene one is only 60mm. So with that in mind, right, technically speaking, the Ridenow should have been lighter if you got a shorter valve. I think, I don't know. Okay, I don't have a shorter valve one, but theoretically speaking, that should have been the case. Now, there's something that I really like about the Magene packaging. The Magene packaging actually provided a QC pass sticker, whereas the Ridenow one has no sign of any QC pass sticker on their box at all, or even in their manuals and all that, right? There is nothing to show that there is a QC pass. Now, that is a bit worrying, because right now, after I got the Ridenow, many people has been telling me that Ridenow has some valve leak issue, micro punctures, and all these other small production failures that me as a user won't be able to know until I put it on and try it out, which is a bit worrying. But I have not heard anything for the Magene yet. Now, I've not heard about the Magene ones because I think that because the Magene ones are relatively new comparing to the Ridenow ones, the Ridenow ones are a bit out in the market for a while longer compared to the Magene ones, which are probably quite recent. I'm not very sure, but I believe they are not as long as the Ridenow ones. Okay, so quick update. So basically what happened when I was editing is that Magene actually contacted me to tell me that I was wrong. So apparently they have already done some testings against the Ridenow tubes, and to them, the sealing performance, which I guess means puncture resistance, and certain other stuff like air leaking out over time and all this, is actually better than a Ridenow tube. Now, I actually do feel that the Magene is slightly better. Still, again, I'm not sponsored by them, But the Magene is slightly thicker, so it does give you that sense of security right now still does accommodate 30 and 32s. So if you are still using 30 and 32s, sadly Magene does not have this offer for you at this moment. But if you are using anything less, obviously you can still consider both. So just do take note that apparently Magene has already done some testing against the Ridenow tubes. Now once again, I was not paid to say any of these. I wasn't given the tubes to test out on my whatever. I got them on my own. The person who told me was somebody from Magene. So actually it's quite interesting to know that they actually did test out against one of their biggest competitors, which is the Ridenow TPU tubes. Take it with a pinch of salt if you are interested and you actually believe the person or you want to trust it, then I guess the Magene would be a better choice at this moment. Okay, so that is more or less the conclusion between the current unboxing of the Magene and the Ridenow tube. Now let's go into the ride. How it feels on the bike, how it feels when installing. Now, installing the Ridenow one it's a bit of a hassle because I think it's because it's wider, so you gotta push more material into the rims, whereas the Magene one went in really smoothly. I just needed to run my hand along the rim and then it just went in somehow. So that was one. The potholes is where I feel it the most, the difference between the Magene and the Ridenow. The Magene one definitely feels a bit more comfier on the potholes. It's less harsh. It's not much more. It's slightly, but you definitely feel that it's a bit comfier and it's a bit springier compared to the Ridenow ones. The Ridenow ones just feel like you just went straight into the hole and then into the wall and then you're fine. But this one still feels like, okay, there's a bit of a styrofoam and then you slam into the wall with styrofoam, but you're still fine. Okay, so it's only very minimal differences, but you can still feel it. That's the big thing. I think some stuff you need to take note of is that the Ridenow one already has certain issues that people are complaining about online, such as the area here is leaking, the valve area, the valve core comes broken, when it's shipped. Certain micro punctures that you don't really know where it is. So all these kind of little issues actually kind of brings down the company's reputation and the product's reputation in a sense, because nobody knows whether or not they're gonna buy a product that is gonna be shit in the end, and you just don't want to be that end user that gets the product which is shit and you won't even know whether it's your fault or it's the manufacturer's fault. So I bought 4. One of them had this micro puncture, another one had this valve core problem. So I don't know whether I'm unlucky and everybody else that I know who has bought this is fine. So it's really a hit or miss. But so it's really a hit or miss. Nobody knows about this yet. Nobody knows how this will work. Nobody knows whether this has manufacturer problems. But so far, out of 2 that I have, 2 out of 2 is fine. So probability and percentage wise, Magene wins. 100% work rate, 50% work rate. Either one will work fine in your rims as long as you learn how to install them properly, as long as you make sure that you don't pinch them in your rims. It should be more or less fine. Now, which one would you get? Would you prefer the orange one or would you prefer the pink one? It's really up to you. You always have to go and decide. But if any of you have already tried either one for a longer period of time, because I've only tried both for about 3 to 400 km each. So if you have actually tried it for a longer time, do tell me your differences, what you have observed in the comments below, and I'm quite interested to know what are the differences long term, because I'm probably gonna choose either one and put it in a rim and I'm too lazy to take it out already. Now if there's anything you guys would like me to go and test out, go and try and be a guinea pig online, just type in the comments below what you guys would be interested to see. Most of the stuff I am purchasing on my own, so don't go and tell me to buy a Wahoo Kicker V6 or Kicker bike or something, because that's not possible. Unless Wahoo wants to send me a Kicker bike, then I don't mind, but other than that, that's impossible. So think and use your brain, okay? Use your brain and be okay, this is something practical. I don't want to buy it. I'm gonna let him try it. Yes, then you tell me, okay? Now if you're interested in future videos after people comment and stuff, do remember to press the red button, go and subscribe, press the bell so that you know when I'm gonna come out the next video. It's probably gonna be every week, so just stay tuned to that. And I'm currently uploading a lot of shorts, so it's gonna be on my IG, it's gonna be on my YouTube, all the shorts, all the reels. So those are also something that you can look forward to. It's gonna be being posted like 3-ish times a week. So yes, we're gonna be expanding. Thank you.